Welcome to the Wealth Identity Report. Today, we are exploring one of the most powerful and least discussed forces in personal finance. Not interest rates, not stock market timing, not even income. We are talking about identity. Specifically, the financial identity your brain has declared as true about you. Here is what we will cover in the next 10 minutes. How your brain uses confirmation bias to lock you into a financial pattern. The verified case of Henry Ford. 2 failures, 1 unshakable identity. The exact 3-step framework to reset your financial identity, and a 3-day protocol you can begin today. Stay until the end. The final chapter contains the one principle that changes everything. Consider what happens in the first 60 seconds after you wake up. Before you check your phone, before your first coffee, your brain is already running a financial verdict. It has declared who you are with money. For millions of people, that verdict sounds like this. Money is always tight. I am not the type who builds wealth. I will invest later when things are more stable. These are not casual thoughts. In cognitive science, they are called identity declarations. And here is the critical insight. Your brain does not treat them as opinions. It treats them as facts. From that moment forward, every financial decision you make will be filtered through that declared identity. The morning verdict shapes the entire day. There are 2 financial prisons, and most people never realize they are inside one. Prison A is the scarcity identity. The person in this prison wakes up and immediately confirms there is never enough. They avoid investment opportunities, frame budgeting as survival, and tell themselves they will act later when they have more. Their brain, faithfully executing its programming, confirms this every single day. Prison B is the value creator identity. The person here wakes up and asks a different question. How do I create more value today? They allocate before they spend. They study compounding. They seek leverage. The brain running this program also confirms it every single day. Same external world, same economic conditions, completely opposite financial trajectories. The only variable is the declared identity. Which prison are you running? In 1960, British psychologist Peter Wasson published a landmark study on what he called confirmation bias. His finding, since replicated hundreds of times across cognitive science, was straightforward and devastating. The brain does not seek truth. The brain seeks confirmation. When you have declared an identity, any identity, your brain becomes an expert prosecutor for that position. It will find evidence. It will dismiss contradictions. It will filter your entire reality to confirm what you have already decided about yourself. Apply this to personal finance, and the implications are serious. If you have declared, consciously or unconsciously, that you are not a wealth builder, your brain is running a confirmation machine against you 24 hours a day. This is not weakness. This is biology. But biology can be redirected. Let us look at the most documented case of financial identity persistence in modern history. Henry Ford. In 1901, Ford founded the Detroit Automobile Company. It failed within 18 months. In 1902, he co-founded the Henry Ford Company. It also failed. His investors bought him out. By any external measure, Ford was a failed businessman. 2 ventures, 2 closures, no product to show for years of work. But Ford never revised his identity. He did not conclude, I am someone who fails at business. He maintained a single, unwavering declaration. I am an automaker. In 1903, he founded the Ford Motor Company. The rest is verified history. 2 failures did not determine his outcome. His identity did. This is confirmed by the Ford Motor Company archives and the Smithsonian Institution. Take 2 people, identical salaries, same city, same rent, same economic starting point. Person A carries a scarcity identity. The paycheck arrives, and their first emotion is relief. Their financial decisions are filtered through survival. Investment feels impossible, something for people with more. 5 years later, their financial position is nearly unchanged. Person B carries a value creator identity. The paycheck arrives, and their first question is allocation. They build a system. Small, consistent, identity-aligned actions. 5 years later, compounding has begun. Now, here is the critical observation. Neither person made a dramatic, life-changing decision. The gap was not created by one big event. It was created by thousands of small decisions, each filtered through a different identity. Behavioral economics confirms this consistently. Identity determines the default decision, and defaults compound. The concept of the dominant thought has been explored across cognitive science and personal development for over a century. The core principle is this. The belief pattern you repeat most consistently becomes the operating system your behavior runs on automatically. Earl Nightingale, in his 1956 recording The Strangest Secret, synthesized decades of research into one statement. You become what you think about most. This is not mysticism. It is the neurological principle of selective attention. Your brain allocates cognitive resources toward what it has been told matters. If your dominant thought is scarcity, that is what gets processed, analyzed, and acted upon. If your dominant thought is value creation, that becomes your automatic lens. The question is not whether you have a dominant thought. You do. The only question is whether you chose it, or whether it was assigned to you by default. James Clear, in Atomic Habits, published in 2018, identified a key failure pattern in how people try to change their financial behavior. Most people start with outcomes. I want $1 million. They set the target, then try to force behaviors toward it. Clear's research shows this approach has the lowest sustainability of any change method. The more effective sequence is identity first. You declare, I am the type of person who builds assets. Then behavior follows naturally because it aligns with who you have already decided to be. Finally, results emerge as a byproduct of sustained identity-aligned behavior. This is the wealth identity blueprint. Identity declaration at the top, behavioral alignment in the middle, measurable financial results at the bottom. The fatal mistake is trying to build from the bottom up. Sustainable wealth is built from the top down, from identity outward. Here is the 30-day protocol. It is built around one question. Every financial decision you face, large or small, pause before acting and ask, what would a value creator do here? That is it. That is the entire protocol. Every morning, write your identity declaration. 3 sentences. I am someone who builds assets. I make decisions from value creation, not scarcity. My financial behavior aligns with my declared identity. At every decision point, a purchase, an investment, a conversation about money, pause and ask the question. Every evening, record one identity-aligned action you took. Build the evidence trail. Your brain needs evidence to confirm the new identity. You are providing it deliberately, instead of letting it collect scarcity evidence by default. Research from University College London shows behavioral patterns begin consolidating between 21 and 66 days of consistent repetition. 30 days begins the process. Stay consistent. Your environment is not neutral. It is either reinforcing your scarcity identity or your value creator identity every single day. Conduct an audit. The 5 people you spend the most time with. What financial identity do they model? The content you consume? Does it normalize wealth building or scarcity thinking? The conversations you have about money, are they about survival or creation? This is not about judgment. It is about architecture. Richard Thaler and Cass Sunstein, in their 2008 work Nudge, documented that environmental defaults shape behavior more powerfully than conscious decision-making. Design your environment to default toward your new identity. Now, the final law. Identity precedes wealth. Not inspiration, not luck, not timing. Identity is the operating variable. Declare first, behave second. The results will follow, because Watson's confirmation machine will have a new program to confirm. Thank you for watching MacroPulse Business. Subscribe for weekly economic intelligence.